Well, hello there. Welcome to the Obi-Thorn Alliance. In today's video, we're doing a premiere / first impressions of the Skeleton Crew. If you like the sounds of that, like and subscribe. Comment down if you enjoyed the show or not, and stick around.
So, the Skeleton Crew, we've done a trailer reaction to this.
Yep.
We deemed it's a show that I'm probably going to like and Jacob may not. Resident Star Wars fan, me, casual Star Wars fan that kind of likes these goofy things. So,
yeah.
I haven't seen it yet. Jacob's going to give his first impressions and I'm going to see if he can convince me to watch it or tell me not to waste my time. So, the nooks and crannies of it, it's a Disney Plus original series of 8 episodes. How many we got out so far?
2.
Just 2, and they're going to come out weekly, are they?
Yes, of course.
From what Jacob was explaining, it's kind of post-Vader, pre-Rey, Finn, Poe. So like post-Return of the Jedi, pre-Force Awakens. It stars Jude Law and then a bunch of kids that... Do you recognise them from anything? Or they're probably their starting role. Yeah. But Jude Law's the big star in this. It's created by John Watts and Christopher Ford, who neither of us knew the names, but when we looked it up, we're looking at John Watts was the director of all the Spider-Man movies that feature Tom Holland, and a movie called Wolves that has Brad Pitt and George Clooney that's on Apple TV. He directed those, and then it also, Christopher Ford was the writer of Spider-Man Homecoming, and obviously he must be the writer behind that. So John Watts must be the creative director. Christopher Ford is the guy that writes the scripts. So dynamic team that has a decent background in, I think, the Spider-Man trilogy so far. Tom Holland's pretty damn good.
In Marvel, and now they're in Star Wars.
Yeah, well now they've got Disney connection, bring all these things together, we're kind of getting the crossover of writers. So, what is the premise of the Skeleton Crew?
So basically the premise is about these 4 kids that happen to go on an adventure. One of them finds this like hatch. He thinks it's a Jedi temple. And then they go on this adventure, end up going lost, end up discovering different things.
Okay, what would this show be comparable to? What's the vibe you get from it?
Stranger Things, The Goonies, and Pirates of the Caribbean.
I did hear a lot of people say it had Goonie vibes based upon the trailer. I haven't seen Goonies.
Me too.
So I couldn't compare, but I guess Goonies is kind of kids that go on like a treasure hunt in like a lost place or dimension or something, and obviously Stranger Things is similar to that in a way. So I can see where they come from that. Who do you think it's made for? Is it made for me? Is it made for kids? Is it made for the Star Wars fanatics?
Well, it's actually made for families, and for the adult being the both parents or the father or the mother that want to get their kids into Star Wars. This is a perfect stepping stone. And also for the nostalgic coming of age story. So it's perfect for families and those sort of people. When it comes to me, it's not for me, but there are parts that people that don't have families can enjoy as well.
What do you think about this direction that Star Wars is taking with having the more entry level, trying to get kids and families involved? I personally think that Young Jedi's is pretty good. My son really likes it, and I think it's a cool way to get new Star Wars fans, and then this is probably for the teenager or the pre-teenager, opposed to Young Jedi's is for little kids. Do you like it, or do you think Star Wars should stick to its original fan base?
I don't think there's anything wrong appealing to different people, because the more you tend to different demographics, the more viewers you're going to get. I'm just a bit disappointed that they're not making like cooler shows, but I just got to broaden my horizon and be open-minded to different things, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think it's a good point that it can open to more people, and you ultimately don't have to watch this. It doesn't seem like it's going to be pivotal for any other Star Wars property. So I guess it's optional, which is a nice thing. So it could be for me, but not for you, but we could both still really enjoy the movies. Where the movies, to me, seem like they're kind of pivotal. You can't really skip them if you want to follow what's going on. So that's cool. It opens to other audience. What is your first impressions of this? Are you liking it, and would you continue to watch, and should I start watching it?
first impression is that the beginning was really awesome. I was really engaged. It was very much like this pirates trying to fight each other. And then from there, I was very bored in episode 1. And then I was kind of like, oh, very generic with the 4 kids and a little bit of how the... very convenient. So if you don't like convenient sort of plots, like for the sake of point A to get to point B and all that sort of stuff, you're probably not gonna like it. But there is a mystery brewing that is very interesting and I want to learn more about. And also Jude Law coming into the show really gets me really excited. So it kind of started well, kind of meandered along, and then with episode 2 it has a mystery going, and then it ended like I need to watch more.
And where do you think this compares to the first 2 episodes of other Star Wars spin-offs like Arcalite? Did you
better than that.
Like it? What about, oh, you're obviously a big fan of The Mandalorian, but what about like Boba Fett or...
It's better than Boba Fett, yes.
Obi-Wan?
Oh, that's a hard one. It's probably better than Obi-Wan because Obi-Wan didn't exceed expectations. But episode 1 of Obi-Wan was awesome.
I must say this show probably has very low expectations because you know it's going to be a bit silly and made for kids. So
Yeah.
you don't expect it to live up to, you know, the heights of big Jedi battles and like consequences that you expect in Obi-Wan. Okay, so that's interesting. Do you think I should watch it?
Yes, I think you'll enjoy it very much. Get to watch it with your son for some parts and with your wife, and it's very much tailored towards you because it's more for the family audiences, because you don't have to be a big Star Wars fan to like this show. It's more of a pirates, like it doesn't feel like Star Wars, what's not a bad thing, but I think it's more tailored towards definitely yourself.
Okay, that's really exciting. So what would you give as a preemptive score out of 10 for the first 2 episodes?
A 6.
6? Okay, that's not bad considering I personally would like a show to come out hot out the gates early on, because then it gets me wanting to continue with it. But maybe this is going to be a slow build. So a 6 is, I know, I'd say above average then. At least it's not a slow start and it's not, oh, where do we go from here? So, yeah, interesting.
Yeah, compare our score to Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes had 10 people and 8 people gave it a fresh, and the 2 others gave it not so fresh. So it ended up being in the 90s, and then when it comes to normal audiences, they got a 83%. So I don't know how these scores mash. I don't know if these people have finished the show or they're just rating from the free episodes. Very curious to know with those scores.
Yeah, I'd like to hope that Rotten Tomatoes have already had access to the whole thing, and if that's what they're giving it early on, I'm pretty happy about that. If that's them after all 8 episodes, that's very, very promising, because I think Rotten Tomatoes are a bit harsh on their ratings, I'm going to be honest. I tend to lean towards the audience review over the critics review when I look at Rotten Tomatoes, so yeah, that's very promising. So I'll give it a watch. And any final thoughts on it?
Any final thoughts? Well, the mystery aspect I think is really cool. It's definitely a fun show. I think I just got a bit frustrated because there were plot conveniences, but it's definitely worth your time. Just don't expect amazing writing compared to Andor.
Okay, awesome.
As always, like and subscribe, and see you in the next video. Let the Force be with you, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.